Let's talk about batting well panels. So you can see on the batting card there is a BW on the card in one of the spots. That is simply a batting well panel. Now what that simply means is that when you're batting well, you take the first line of results for every result. If you haven't got a batting well panel yet, you would take the second result. Now not every one of the 2 to 12 has a secondary result, but some of them do. And you can see that the secondary result is generally worse than the first result. So an E, F, G, that's 2 grades lower. D, E, F, 2 grades lower. B, C, D, 2 grades lower. C, E, F, 2 grades lower. B, C, D, that's 3 grades lower. So you can see that if you're not batting well, you have a greater chance to have something worse happen. Over here on Rohit Sharma, he's got a H on 12, which is very low. But if he's not batting well, an X, which is going to bring in a lot of dismissal chances. Obviously a H will bring in dismissal chances if the field is right, but it's definitely going to bring in some chances if the batsman is not batting well. So when a batsman first comes in, he is not batting well. The rule is that a batsman has to score at least 1 run, and then once the batsman has scored 1 run or got off the mark, got off 0, he would then have to roll the number corresponding to his batting well panel. So if Virat Kohli gets off the mark, the very first time he rolls a 5, he is then considered to be batting well. And then these results here that have a secondary column will no longer be looked at. So when he first comes in, he's on 0, he rolls a 9. Instead of having a D shot grade, he would have an F. Instead of having a B shot grade, on a 10, he would have a D. And if he rolled a 4, instead of having an E shot grade, he would have a G. So he's not batting well, you take the secondary result. As soon as he rolls that 5 after he's off the mark, he's got at least 1 run, he is considered batting well. If he rolls a 4, he would be an E, not a G. G is no longer in play. If he rolled a 9, he would be a D. F is no longer in play. If he rolled a 10, he would be a B. D is no longer in play. He's batting well. I believe there are something you can print out with the game that covers up the secondary grades once they're batting well. I don't use that, but I just know they're batting well. I indicate it on my score sheet. So every player, every batsman's card has a batting well panel. Obviously, the more it is closer to 7, the better the batsman tends to be. Virat Kohli is one of the best in the world. He's got his batting well panel on a 5. So you're going to roll a batting well of a 5 a lot more than you would if you had to say the batting well on a 3 or an 11 or on a 12, for instance. So I might just try and find a batting well panel that is somewhere in a worse position. Now Kyle Jarvis is a fast bowler for Zimbabwe. It's a right-hand fast bowler. So he bats in the lower order. And you can see that he's got a batting well panel on 3, which is obviously not going to come up as much as some of these guys that have batting well panels. On numbers you're going to roll more often on a 2 to 12 scale. So he will have less shot grades. He'll have more chance of getting out because his X is closer to the middle and his batting well panel is very low. So if he gets the batting well, great, but most likely he's probably going to get a dismissal grade before he even gets the batting well grade. And so that's how you can look at a card and see, okay, this guy's good, his batting well panel is close to the middle. Okay, this guy is not as good, his batting well panel is lower, and his dismissal grade, namely an X, is going to be closer to the middle, whereas the dismissal grade here for Virat Kohli is on the 3. So you can see the difference. The batting well panel is on the 3 for Jarvis, who's someone who's not very good. And Virat Kohli, his dismissal grade is on the 3 for someone who is really good. So that's the batting well panel. You do not need to get the batting well panel when you come out after a session of play. If you've already got it, you do need to re-get the batting well panel if you're coming back the next day. So you're in, you had the batting well panel the previous day. It was stumps for the day. The new day has dawned. You come out for the next day, say day 2. You have to get the batting well panel again, except the only thing is you don't have to score a run before you get the batting well panel. So you would just, as soon as you roll the batting well panel number, you would get that, even if you hadn't scored a run on that day, because you had already got the batting well panel the night before. So when you first come in, you're not batting well, you use the secondary. As soon as you get off the mark, you score at least 1 run and you roll the number with the batting well panel, you will then be able to ignore the secondary results. That is batting well.